or if you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you have 5 or 7, those are harmonic frequencies because they vibrate. They actually literally vibrate inside of whatever their root wave is. You know, but there's these node points where they're equally divisible mathematically. So that's what creates harmonics, harmony in general. You know, because the wavelengths intersect mathematically at node points.
So because the waveforms are intersecting, that's creating the harmonics.
Mm-hmm.
If they didn't intersect, then they would be disharmonic.
So
they'd be separated.
There's consonance and dissonance.
Right.
Dissonance is like, you know, non-harmony. I mean, it's still harmony can be used loosely, but like, so dissonance is more unpleasant to the ear, I guess you could say. So like, in a 7 notes, there's 12 chromatic notes, right? There's 12 notes in Western music, which is, you know, but then in the diatonic scale, it's different combinations of those 7 notes that create whatever scale, you know. So we refer to the notes in those scales from the tonic or root being 1, and then you have your second, your third, your fourth, your fifth, your sixth, and your seventh. And then your octave is basically, like I said, the same as the root. But, so like this one here, the way that the physics of it work, mathematically, the 5th note in the scale divides 3 times into the root. Or the 7th, or the 3rd note in the scale divides 5 times into the root, evenly. So that's why in your major chord it's more consonant, so the harmony is like a perfect harmony. So you start getting into other shit like you know, your major 7th, which is, it kind of deviates because it's a half step away from the root. So if you have a 7-note scale, your major 7th is the half step right underneath. So what happens with those waveforms? So say this is your root wave. The major 7th crosses over at the node points and creates this warble, you know, like, because the wave, and you can actually hear the, so that's like creating a dissonance because the waves are crossing over.
Right. They're going along almost the same, but they're crossing.
I mean, they can
weird
still
way.
they're still be used like functionally, like it still sounds good even, but the way that the waveforms are actually interacting creates more dissonance because it's right next to the note. You know, when you have notes that are spaced apart, they're more harmonious because they're not intersecting and crossing over with wavelengths. Whereas the more spread out they are, the less they intersect, technically. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It's almost like I almost liken it to hanging out with people that are almost just like you, but then you come to find out that you're disharmonic in some ways because there's unhealed parts about you that you easily recognize in others.
Or you know? Like you get in the worst fights with some of your best friends.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly, because you're so close to them, because you're so much alike that you start to as you evolve, you start to notice these other things about those people because they're real close. Whatever, they're close to your frequency, but they're not in harmony with the frequency. You know? And is that necessarily a good or bad thing? That's up for people to decide on their own, I suppose. But how did we get started talking about this? Was this game? What is this game?
Whatever. Solar Wind. It's just a dumb game.
Just a dumb game.
Just a dumb space game.
Where all your weapons are energy weapons. And this was what?
Well,
when did this one come out?
This is like the early 90s.
Look at this. All these pulse cannons and stuff. We got this stuff today.
I just thought it was interesting how the different weapons and shields kind of...
Show some of your weapons. Let's see.
They don't look any different. It's just...
Oh, they all look the same?
It's dumb. It's a dumb 90s game.
Oh, so they don't really do anything different?
But I just thought it was interesting because, you know, based on what your opponent's shields are, you change your harmonic... They look like sound waves. You know?
Right.
Whatever.
Yep. Pretty cool shit.